Hi, good evening, Cambodia. Good afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Pepper's Echo. My name's Andre. And yes, for those of you watching live, thank you so very, very much. For those of you watching on the rerun, thank you too. It is really, really great to be back with you again. To get the formalities out of the way, please like and subscribe. I would very, very much appreciate it. It's the only way that I do get this around and see my views are dropping. I suppose it's because I'm not being as political as what I should be, etc., etc. I just feel that the Echo is sort of going in the right direction, in the right way with the new content that we're working with, and I quite enjoy it. And it's sort of like just my life being driven around. But if there is anything at all that you would like to discuss, have discussed, or brought up on the Echo, if you would like to come on the show, it would be even great, because Ordinary Man in the Street, taking a look from the outside inside, would be super. If you drop us a mail at Pepper's Echo, PEPRSECHO @gmail.com. No double P, no E. Yes, that is correct as such. So do pay attention. PEPRSECHO @gmail.com. Drop me a mail and let me know if there's anything. Doesn't have to be in line with anything specific. Can be just anything of interest. Doesn't have to be Cambodian. Doesn't have to be South African. Can be just a feeling, a hobby, a notion, something of interest. And if you'd like to come into the show, please let me know too. It would really, really be appreciated. I've actually, fortunately, I just did this, today's one a little prematurely. I put up what I wanted to speak about was just a little bit of poop, but in actually dealing and looking up things, I decided that I would rather go with something else. So I will actually change the thumbnail and the name of the stream, and we'll deal with a little bit of poop next weekend, maybe, because I am still very much working on the computer room. As you can see, the back still looks like a clinical sanitarium, which makes me look like I'm in a madhouse. So I do apologize. Hopefully we can get the back looking a little bit more, how should I say, clean, neat, tidy, exciting. I'm trying to see what's in the picture over here. Some boxes or something over there. Yeah, the camera is not even right yet, so you will still see me looking this way to look at the screen, or looking that way to look at another screen. And when I do remember to look at the camera, you will see me looking at the camera. So I'm going to try and remember to take a look at that. Currently, we've had quite a week. We had Tuesday off, but oh man, this week it's still a bit of a tense week. And what I'm trying to do is get through the week without medication. How many of us, when things get a little bit bad, medication does seem to be the name of the game? Not too good always. So yeah, it does work. Obviously, it works to take chronic medication as well, which you need to keep on. And secondly, please note that I am no doctor, no psychologist, no psychiatrist, or anything to that effect. I am just the ordinary man in the street, and I'm actually sharing my life and my views with you as such. And if there was anything that you had to share or speak about, that you could share and speak about with me, and bring it up, please do. I'm still very, very much in the part of my life where I'm taking a look at what is in my life, and a lot of it has been started. I don't have the book here. I must actually dig it up again because I haven't read it since I've moved. Yeah, that's why we are looking so empty and sounding so echoey as well. Hopefully once the cupboard and everything or something at the back is up, we won't sound so echoey. But yeah, what I want to say is, yeah, I'm very, very much looking at what is affecting my life, because I think before we can fix what's in our life, we need to look at what we allow in our life. And that's why last week was actually quite opening to me, because the more I spoke to you and the more I do speak to you, the more I'm epiphaning to myself, because once again, I am no master that is speaking. I am a broken student that is speaking as well to you, and I'm finding what's working for me, what is epiphanying to me, what I'm aiming at, what I think, what I look, what I've analyzed. And I I can't say that I don't enjoy the motivational things that you find lying around sometimes or coming up or being sent to, etc., etc. But I do not enjoy the motivational things that go, you know what, I used to be a nice person, now I just don't give a damn or give a fuck, whatever people want to say, whatever. And I'm thinking, you know what, that's also not right. That's also not right in life. You know, to be a good person, you do care. To be a good person, you are diplomatic, considerate. So yes, be firm, be able to speak your mind, but don't be a nasty, rotten ass piece of dung that's lying on the ground next door and go, oh, I just don't give a damn. No, you know what? That's facetious and arrogant, and that's not what we're looking for in life, because that does stress us out in life. I don't care who you are, what you say. It does create the wrong environment in which you are. So a lot of what I'm looking at still is the environment and what's important to me and what I let into my life. And as I was saying, where I got it from is a book that I need to dig up still, called Live the Let Go Life by Joseph Prince. And he actually spoke about, and we actually can talk about that sometime as well, is getting rid of addictions in your life. And I thought to myself, well, not a problem. It may be, you know what, I smoke. So maybe I can get rid of smoking. Huh? I don't really drink at all. I am an occasional drinker. I have a drink here and there, but alcohol's just never bothered me. So when the alcohol ban comes up for COVID, it's like, doesn't matter. You know what? I really don't have to have that beer, that whiskey, that I can go days without it. I have a bottle of whiskey that I've had almost a year and still not finished. You know, I don't like open a bottle, crush the top, and go, this one will die today and stuff like that. So that doesn't bug me. And I thought, okay, well, maybe smoking, I don't know what other, maybe Facebook or something like that. Maybe there's a couple of addictions that are there. So I took a look, and next thing, Live the Let Go Life went, what about the addictions in your life of unforgiveness, guilt, beating yourself up? And I went, wow, those are millions of addictions that I have. And I'd like to actually go through them sometime so that we are able to maybe look at them and see how they affect your life, because they are, once again, things that you let into your life, situations. So not only where you appear, but also where you, I should have said, where you, as I said last week, places you go, people you associate with. And I'm not saying be a snob, but I am saying be choiceful. But something else that I came across, and I started taking a look at what is important in my life. What do I stress about and what is important in my life? And this is something that I looked at. What's it? Brian Dyson. He was the CEO of Coca Cola up until, I think, 1991, somewhere along the line. He was quite a long time. I'm not too sure when, 70s until 90s. And he made a speech which actually went viral, and I'm sure that most of you have heard about this speech. Unfortunately, it is not the shortest of speeches, because as we'll see today, we'll go on with it a bit to take a look at breaking it down. He did have a pre-speech and a few things afterwards, and there are things that we looked at afterwards that what does this mean? And his speech went, imagine life as a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them work, family, health, friends, and spirit. And you're keeping all of these in the air. Isn't that what we juggle in life? We're juggling our work, our family, our health, our friends, and our spirit. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. How much do we actually get to juggle around our work? How much do we fit in around our work? How much do we move out of our lives to accommodate our work? But yet what he says, you will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it would bounce back. Mad CEO, hey? But the other four balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, nicked, marked, damaged, or even shatter. They will never be the same. You must understand and strive for the balance in your life. Which kind of makes so much sense to me, because we tend to take so much of our lives and balance it around work. We make work the center of our lives. Now, I'm sorry, work is the center. We tend to do so. I mean, and in your life, there's different things. As far as I'm concerned, your spiritual should be the center of your life. You should put God as the center of your life. That should be what you put around you. But we tend to make work, that rubber ball, the center of our lives. We move everything around that work. Families moved around there. Where we live is moved around work. If I work there, I've got to move there. My family's got to move there. My wife's got to find a job there, and my kids will go to school over there. If I want to go on holiday, then it depends on if I can from work. If I want to see something tonight, it depends on work. Work makes us, we tend to make work the golden ball. If I don't have that work, my life falls apart. And that's the only thing that actually jumps back up again. You can get another work. Yes, it's absolutely crazy at the moment to find one. But not impossible. What is impossible is family. Your family grows up and your family goes on. You can absolutely shatter a family because work takes over your life. Your family's divorced, it doesn't come back again. Your family disconnects, your children grow up, people find other interests because of your work. So if I'm working for my family, I'm not working on my family. That could be a problem. Your health. You can't get your health back again. Heart attack, stress, pressure, that doesn't come back again for your work. And nobody at work has gone, well, you know what, let's give this guy a break. He's getting a lot of health issues from work. It's like, well, I mean, I take a look at work currently. Well, somebody's not well. Well, you know what, if that happens, we're going to have to replace them pretty soon. Keep an eye out for somebody who can take that place. Really? Yeah. Friends. Now, I'm talking about good friends, not just the next best, coolest thing that actually keeps you out, but your good friends. Don't leave them. Don't leave them alone. Friends will respect you, and if you leave them, they will not come and bother you. Good friends will respect you in that sense. And they will, with the greatest respect, carry on in life. How will you get them back? Because of work. And then most of all, spirit, your spiritual life. Work will not make your spiritual life improve. Your spiritual life will improve your work. Fact. Being able to find contentment, peace, blessings, gratitudes, way of doing things in a controlled, happy manner, that'll improve your work life. It'll improve your friends. It'll improve, because it'll help you get the right kind of friends and keep in contact with the right kind of friends. It'll improve your family life. Family life, family who prays together stays together. It'll improve your health because your spirit is of body and mind and soul. But anyway, let's take a look at a few of the other things here. Oh, it's so nice. So how do we do this? Number one, it says don't undermine your worth by comparing yourself with others. How often do we compare ourselves to others? It is because we are different that each of us is special. Now, that to me is something that I often do. Wow, look at my friend. He just bought a new car. Geez, he's doing so well. Look at this guy. He's just got a new house. Look at this guy and his family. He's got an absolutely beautiful family. Wow, look how well this person's doing at work. Geez, these people can afford to go on holiday all the time. Wow, look at this person. He really plays golf well. You don't get more perfect. Do not look at Facebook for results on people's lives, first of all, because people only post a good moment. No one's ever posted and said, wow, this is where I was having a real crap time. No, they post all the good times in life. I also need to improve my chair, sorry. Don't compare yourself to others. Your success is what you have achieved. Now, if achieving becoming a waiter and becoming a restaurant manager is your achievement and your friend is a CEO, kudos to them. Well done. But you are living a passion of your life. That's that's your achievement. What makes you happy? What is success to you? I remember something from an Anthony Robbins tape or whatever, Personal Power, I think it's called. And he had a guy on stage and he was a millionaire and he had all the cars in life and he had a beautiful, absolutely model, stunning wife and he looked like a model himself and everything. And he was beautifully built and all that. And they said to him, you know what, do you see yourself as successful? And he said, no. What will success mean to you? And he said, well, you know what? I got to get X amount of millions still in there. I need that car and that car. And if I lose X, Y, Z body fat, I will be successful. This is a millionaire with everything already. He already looks good. He's got a beautiful wife, supports him 100%. And he has a whole collection of cars. And he doesn't feel successful yet. He doesn't feel that he has made a success. And so they handed it over to the audience and he said, well, who of you feels successful? And there's one guy who's jumping up and down, almost climbing up the walls with his hand. And he said, yes, sir, do you feel successful? And he said, yes. And he said, well, what makes you successful? And he said, well, every day above ground is a successful day. Where do we measure success? Success is measured in your contentment, in being able to live life. I don't have a mansion. I don't own a car and I don't own a house. But my success was being able to start over again, maybe with nothing, but we've got to a very comfortable place in our lives. And even very late in my life, I've been able to start saving for some kind of pension or provident fund. I don't know how much it will be or if it's going to make any difference, but it should make more of a difference than if I didn't. But my worth as a person, let's take a look. Your integrity, your goodness, the good person that you are, your kindness, your smile, your support, your willingness to lend an ear, your happiness and joy with what you have around you, with what you have placed around you and where you have placed yourself. That's your success. Don't compare yourself to others. You will never live up to others. We are different, and that makes each of us special. A game ranger is not a CEO of a corporate company, yet they can both be happy because they are successful in their own lives, the unique way that they put themselves together. Don't set your goals by what other people deem important. Don't set your goals by what other people deem important. Only you know what is best for you. Set your own goals. And then I also want to tell you, don't set a foolscap page full of goals, because what we are looking at now is achieving our goals. We want to achieve our goals. So you know what is best for you. If my goal is to have a Porsche, I don't have a car, but my goal is to have a Porsche. And I have a family of 4. I don't know how practically that would be good for me. I have a wife at home. She doesn't look so good. A couple of kids hanging around. But if I get a Porsche, I'm going to attract a lot of good women. It may not be your best goal, but I'm using exaggeration now. Your goals need to be what's important to you. I have had people who work for me before. And I said, don't you want to be a manager? And they said, no, I'm really happy being the office supervisor. I have a lovely home and I have a husband and I have children and everything. I don't want that. So a lot of people don't want the additional. They have what is more important to them. Having more isn't always better, but it depends on more what? More peace? More contentment? Your goals. What are your goals? My goal is to have a lot of money. My goal is to have more of a connection with my maker. 2 different goals, but both vastly different. I don't want to say just as important, because money is not really that important. I think, to me, a proper connection with your maker is far more important. My goal is to find contentment and happiness in life. How am I going to do that? Well, I need to be able to find joy and happiness and contentment with what I have in life. How am I going to do that? Notice in life what is good for me, what I want, what I need, and what I can get by on. I would love $1 million a month, or $1 million a month, whichever. Is it going to make me happy? I don't know if I'll find that last part in my life. Temporarily, I'm sure it will make me happy. Probably ruin a lot of my life as well in the process, because the decisions you make there are just... But make your goals on what is important to you. Don't make your goals from what you see on other people, and please don't make them from Facebook, because only these little good moments... You know what? Facebook's a terrible thing to actually compare your life to. So when you look at the life and you go, wow, look at everybody. Wow, look what everybody's got, and look what they're doing, and look how happy they are, and everything. And, oh, my life's a mess. No, not cool. The next thing is that he said, don't take for granted the things closest to your heart. Cling to them as you would your life, for without them, life is meaningless. Don't take for granted the things the closest to your heart. Cling to them as you would your life, for without them, life is meaningless. So what is close to my heart? My house, I rent it, but it's there. My work, yes, you don't make it a glass ball, but it's there. What about my family, my life, my wife? What about time with the family? You know what? It's there conveniently. There's a whole thing that called dust if you must, about carrying on with work and not spending time on things that are important. And I'll read you the poem some other time. But you go along and you're carrying on with things that are not important in your life, or you think are important in your life, like work, like dusting, like washing, like cleaning, like making the deal, making the phone, watching the news, whatever. But you've left behind what's important to you. Your family, your wife, your little dogs at home, being able to just open the fridge every day. Those are things you've got to be grateful for, and you've got to say thank you for them. Taking for granted the people that support you, a friend that'll phone, a wife that supports you, people that admire and respect you or look up to you or prepare to follow you or listen to you. Don't take for granted blessings that are given to you. Hold on to them as you would your life, because without them, take out of your life what means to you, and then look how much time you are spending on it or holding on to it, and then realize maybe I'm spending too much time on other things, and what is there, especially people, husbands and wives, often take themselves, they're there, but they will not be there forever. And at the moment, I have seen so many people passing away, my age, younger ages, around this age. And I'm saying that, you know what? Tomorrow isn't promised to anybody. If you wanted to hug that person, if you wanted to spend 20 minutes talking to that person, do it now. Not when you've got the time. Because you might get the time when that person's not there anymore. Don't take for things close as granted. Don't let your life slip through your fingers by living in the past for the future. And I think I spoke about this last week a little as well. By living your life one day at a time, you live all the days of your lives. And I enjoyed a little Snoopy comic, and it said, like, you only live once. And little Snoopy says to Charlie, he says, no, it was the other way around. But anyway, one of them says, you only live once. And he says, no. He says, you live every day, you only die once. Living our lives in the past, I shouldn't have done that. And I tend to do that extremely myself. And we carry this baggage that stops us. You know what? When you're carrying a heavy bag and you're walking, sometimes life does deal you an uphill. And when you're walking uphill and you're carrying a heavy bag, it's difficult. But when you actually get to drop that bag off, you can almost jog uphill. So your daily situations, opportunities, remember I said there's no problems, only opportunities. Your daily opportunities that challenge you sometimes are easier faced when you're not carrying the luggage from the past, when you have valued yourself as well. Because often your luggage from the past is that you've devalued yourself. I was told I was no good. That you carry with you forever. I was told I was useless. I was told I will never amount to much. I was told I can't fix things. Some people tell it to you today, get rid of them. They're not what you want in your life. But don't carry those that aren't there in the past along. Don't carry the mistakes you've made in the past. As I say, forgiveness is asked and you are granted and given the opportunity to go on. If you are going to make the same mistake consistently, then I'll say, you got a problem, bud, because we might make mistakes and go, okay, I've made a mistake, forgive me, and then go, I can make that mistake again because I'll be forgiven. No, that is not right. But if I've made a mistake, really I can be forgiven for that. And forgive as well. As I said last week, forgiveness isn't forgetting. It is just letting go of having a situation occupy resentment, bitterness, sorrow, anger in your heart. That doesn't deserve to be there. Guilt, that doesn't deserve to be there. I carry sometimes and I think, oh, that was so bad. And I think, You know what? Nobody even cares about it anymore. That was like 30 years ago, and you are still, oh man, can't believe I did that. And oh, geez, that person, you know what? I'm probably am such a snoz. You know how many people have said to me, oh, Andre, you talk too much. To the point where when I've finished seeing people, that I think, oh, well, I wonder if I've spoken too much. And there are these lousy shitheads that will say, oh, well, you just can't stop talking. You know what? God granted me the opportunity to talk through practically anything. I can stand up in front of a crowd of 1,000, 100,000, and I'll deliver a speech without rehearsing. They can say, Andre, talk to us about that now, and I will pull away with the jibber jabber, unless it's something that tell me about the biocombustion of knowledge. Well, I have no idea about biocombustion for the space shuttle, whatever, but let me tell you about life. However, sometimes being able to speak is a good thing. It's just a matter of how you speak, what you speak. Others don't. If you do speak, speak truthfully, enjoy it, allow it. Pray that there will be people to listen around you. There will always be the wet farts that criticize you. They know who they are. Ignore them. Move them out of your life. There's definitely people I've got to move out of my life. There's people that always have a negative connotation to anything. It cannot be positive in any way. Nice but, good but, yes but. Always has to be negative because nothing can come out good towards you. You know what? If somebody's going to butt you all the time, then butt them out. I learned a long time ago, I was manager of a computer retail, and I was sometimes quite tough. I've learned to be much, much more accommodating. And I like being a nice person. It's really, everyone, oh, but you're such a nice guy, you're a wet one. I like being a nice person. It's hard being a nice person because everybody wants to be a nice person. And the only way they can actually, should I say, be around you is to try and degrade you and insult you, and because they can't be you. Remember that. Being a nice person is a difficult thing to do. But I was a little bit hard, and my guys were merchandising a certain section of the store, and they really put blood, sweat, and tears into it. It was practically immaculate. I always used to find something wrong, so they called me out my office. Come, let me show you what we've done. We've done something for you. Come take a look here. And I looked and I looked and I looked. And I said, yeah. And the one guy looked at me and says, yes, we know it's great, but what? And then I realized sometimes, just sometimes, it's not necessary to say but. Sometimes it's just necessary to say, well done, great. So don't let your life slip through your fingers. Live it by living life one day at a time. Yeah. Live forward, not backwards. Don't regret. Forgive. Be forgiven. Don't give up when you still have something to give. Nothing is really over until the moment you stop trying. I can attest to that. Okay, you know what? There's no more. There's no more go in my life. I mean, I thought I'd come to Cambodia and teach and just make it by until hopefully I die sometime. Next thing, I got a bit of a career opportunity and another as we're going by. And it was actually quite nice being able to speak to a superintendent and the CEO saying, you are worth being kept here. This is the career path we have for you. And I'm going, but am I not too old for your career path? Are we not looking for, this is what we look for you and this is what's going to happen and this is what we need? Sure, people obviously sometimes inflate it and bloat it and et cetera, et cetera. But it comes at the strangest of times. It's not like it just came there. I mean, as I said before, I had a really good job as a manager, and obviously due to having the wrong people working for me, or working for the wrong people and having the wrong people placed in places, etc., etc. Fortunately, I did drop the work ball, which was a rubber ball. And as I said, ended up in hospital, came back. But anyway, resigned, started my own business, which didn't go well because I was wanting to go to New Zealand. As you know, it didn't work out. Business didn't go well. About a year later, I've told you all about that. Then had to find a job in a retail, which was tight. Went from being in the green to in the red financially, and everything was just down. It was eventually like just getting what you can to make it, just getting what you can to make it. That was the reason for moving, but not giving up. And eventually we'll move. And we, out of almost having nothing, moved overseas. And that's one thing, again, you'd say, well, you know what? Why did God not look after you? I think he did, because if I had more than what I had, I would never have made the decision to move. The more I had, and that's why you've got so many people in South Africa, it's because they're holding on to what they have. The richest people there are not worried about those around them. And I'm not saying I would have not worried about those around me. But if I had a comfortable life, if I had a house, if I had a good income, etc., etc., I would not in my wildest dreams. But because I was down on the ground, I was more than happy to make a decision to actually move to Cambodia and start over here. And that was the life that I was supposed to be in. I do believe so. And that is what was meant for us and for me, my wife and myself. Next one says, don't be afraid to admit that you are less than perfect. It is this frail thread that binds us each together. Nobody's perfect. There was only one perfect man who walked this earth, Jesus Christ himself. And that was it. The rest of us are not perfect. By a long shot. Hence the reason it's important. I'm not saying you must accept what is wrong. Everybody is sinners. Don't have it done to you, but sometimes you need to accept imperfections in people. Remember, two people can make up perfection. Because you complement each other. I always say my wife and I can get nothing. We can get absolutely nothing done by ourselves. It is scary and ridiculous to see that. But together there's nothing that we can't do. And sometimes we learn it the hard way, because when she's off on a tangent on her own and I'm off on a tangent on myself, and everything just implodes and is an absolute horrible mess. But when we do things together, there is nothing that we can't get done. Because each person fills the weaknesses of the other and the motivation that goes together, etc., etc. So we're all imperfect. None of us are perfect. Accept it. We strive to be gentle, we strive to be kind, and we strive to do our very best. And that is how we fill each other in. But perfect? No, we're not perfect. Good? Yes, you can be good. So don't say, well, you know what, I slip. I'm an alcoholic because I'm imperfect. No, you're an alcoholic because you make bad decisions. Something else. I'm not going to go into that one myself. But that's not accepting things. I accept my husband sleeping around because he's not perfect. No, I've not said that at all. That is plain transgression. I'm just saying that sometimes I might not be good at maths, but you might be at marketing. You might be good at maths. I'm good at marketing. Between maths and marketing, we do a lot more than if we were both mathematicians and we couldn't market. One of the reasons my business went down the toilet, none of us can really market. So we can run the business. We can put everything together. We can organize everything. We can do everything. But marketing was an absolute shit show. Don't be afraid to encounter risk. Oh, man. Don't be afraid to encounter risk. It is by taking chances that we learn how to be brave. That's a very open statement, I would say, as well. A very open statement. Don't be afraid to encounter risk. I think we need to calculate the risk that we take as well, because there's two sayings that go. One goes, look before you leap, and then the other one goes, he who hesitates is lost. So which one is it? Do we be careful? Because you've seen so many people go into a scheme that suddenly I took a risk at a business. I think it was a calculated risk. It didn't work out, but fortunately we made a better decision. But don't be afraid to take a risk at trusting. Don't be afraid to take a risk at loving. Don't be afraid to take a risk at enjoying your life. Don't be afraid to take a risk at being happy. Don't be afraid to take a risk at going for the next position, at working hard, at putting that extra together. Don't be afraid to take the risk of doing gym. Don't be afraid to take the risk of talking to your partner. You know what? They might understand more than what you think. There are so many risks in life that don't involve danger, that involve emotion, that the risk is emotional. Taking a chance on love. Don't be afraid to take the risk of living alone for a change sometimes. Sometimes you've got to get out. I'm not saying that's what you want to do. I mean, let me put it this way. To my wife, happy anniversary for yesterday. We did 22 years that we've been married. And they've been some hairy ones here and there, but we're still there. Happy birthday to my mom. I think she's, I don't know. I'm not going to put her age out there, but that's why I've got to finish Pepper's Echo now so I can actually chat to her. But don't be afraid to take risk, and understand that risk isn't always only financial. Be careful when you're doing a financial risk. Be calculated, but take risks emotionally. Don't be afraid to commit. You know what? If you love someone, don't be afraid to get married. It's the right thing to do. If you don't want to get married, then take the risk of losing that person and leave. Risks don't always take financial repercussions. Risks often take emotional repercussions as well. Don't shut love out of your life. There we go. By saying it's impossible to find time. That's what I was talking about earlier on. The quickest way to receive love is to give love. The fastest way to lose love is to hold it too tightly. And the best way to keep love is to give it with wings. I like to say unconditional. Love is a strange thing because people want it to be 50-50. And it can't be 50-50. You can't give 50% and you give 50%. It's 100-100. You've got to give 100 and the other person's got to give 100 as well. And it's not only to your spouse or your wife, but it's to people around you, to animals, to how much love do you have in your heart? Now, obviously we look very, very much to our spouses and our partners, our girlfriends, our fiancés, etc. And it's not 50-50, it's 100-100, because most of us want to run 50-50. I'll give if you give. Now you give me a banana and I'll give you an apple. Now you give me a hamburger and I'll give you a hot dog. What you give me, I'll give you. What you give me, I'll give you. And it's absolutely ridiculous playing one-on-one. You know what? I'm not going to if you don't. Shouldn't matter. I remember the one story from also, once again, Anthony Robbins, who was talking to a lady, and the lady was like, "Oh, my husband doesn't love me. I'm going to get divorced. Whatever. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't act to me." He says to her, "So what are you going to do?" She says, I don't know. He doesn't want to. He says, "Tell me, if you're driving along one of these little roadside roads or cliffside roads next to the sea, do you drive on the left-hand side or do you drive on the right-hand side?" And obviously in America, they drive on the right. So she said, "No, well, I drive on the right-hand side." He says, "On these squiggly little roads that you can't see?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Now, why don't you drive on the left-hand side?" She says, "Well, I'll probably go and I'll have an accident." Says, okay. So you'll drive on the right-hand side? She says, yes. So he says, well, what if somebody drives on the left-hand side and you driving on the right-hand side? She says, well, then we'll have an accident. So he says, so you should never in your life drive along that road because someone might be driving on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, and you're on the right. She says, no. He says, if I've got to get from there to there, I'll drive it. He says, but how do you connotate that won't happen? She says, well, you've just got to have faith and drive that road. He says, exactly. You love your husband. You're not going to not drive that road. You're going to have faith. And you're going to give it all. You can't expect what you're holding back. And in the end, this thing goes on quite long. And in the end, she makes a decision, which is the right decision. She says, what you're going to do? She says, I'm going to go home and I'm going to love my husband so much. I'm going to do so much for him and I'm going to care for him and I'm going to love him and I'm going to support him and I'm going to back him and everything to that effect. And he says, and if he still doesn't love you back, he says, well, that's just tough his then. You know what? If he wants to leave, he's going to leave, but he's going to find a whole lot of love with me, which is 100%. And that's what I'm saying. The fastest way to lose love is to hold it. I agree. I hold it too tightly. The best way to keep it is to give it wings. Share it amongst everybody, not just amongst spouses and that, but your love is shared with how you share in the world, etc., etc. It's a person filled with love that is noticed. Don't run. Don't run through life so fast that you forget not only where you've been, but also where you're going. Sometimes we are motoring through life at such a speed. I've got to get that done, got to get that done, got to get that done, that we actually forget just to enjoy the moment in life. No, I've got to get there. I've got to get there. When I eventually go on holiday away to some great place one day, I will appreciate it. Appreciate the contentment and the quietness that you have in your own garden, in your own lounge. Wherever you're sitting, go and have a cup of coffee with somebody. But slow down your mind. I know I have a terrible time. I actually try and watch TV or something at night, which is really, really bad because my mind's running so fast. I'm like thinking, what if that happens? What if that happens? I'm a terrible overthinker. So I'm always thinking, if that happens, that happens. That happens, we'll do that. If that happens, that. And this is what I'm saying, overwhelming. So I'm carrying in 52 different points, of which 2 will happen that day. And I'm carrying 50 with me. It's ridiculous. Things that so don't run through life so fast that you forget not only where you've been, appreciate where you've been, good or bad. One of it's got something that you've got learned or received from it, but also where you're going. Appreciate your future. Appreciate the people around you, people. Sometimes we don't appreciate what's around us. We're so busy trying to be the center of attention. Don't forget a person's greatest emotional need is to feel appreciated. That's easy. We talk about that every day. I want to be appreciated. I want to be appreciated. You know what? People need to say thank you. People need to say please. Don't forget that the people around you also need to be appreciated. Do you appreciate them? Genuinely? I always try and say please and thank you. Doesn't matter if I'm asking for something, if something needs to be done, if it's supposed to be an order or whatever, always say please and thank you. You know what? It can be nasty people that you're dealing with. I try and be nice. My judgment doesn't come from them. It comes when I die one day. Their actions on me will be judged as well. Be careful. And I know I speak Christianity, but be careful for being the Christian, the critical Christian. Because then you forget to share your love. Appreciate people. And if they're not people to be appreciated, move them out of your life. If you can't be nice to someone, or they're not nice to you, both ways, move them out of your life. If you can't be nice to them, Move them out of your life. If you thrive on being negative to people, you have a serious problem in your life. Don't be afraid to learn. Knowledge is weightless, a treasure you can always carry. Well, let's not learn. It's not necessary. Don't be afraid to go to college. Don't be afraid to go to school. Don't be afraid to go to university, etc. And don't be afraid to do that. Doesn't matter what age you are. Just go on with it. You know what? If you're going to get something, sometimes it's 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Do you know that 4, 5 years, 3 years go like this? We are nearly 3 years in Cambodia. It's been like that. I can remember 2010 when we moved to Cape Town. We were Cape Town 5 years. We were back in Johannesburg 5 years. We've been here 3 years, 4 years in Johannesburg, 3 years here. Time doesn't stand still anymore. The speed of life, and that's why they say don't forget where you are, come from, don't forget where you're going, enjoy your moments as well, don't race through life. But don't be afraid to learn. But you don't necessarily have to sign up at college and that to learn. Remember, you learn from everybody, including the people around you. I learn from my colleagues, I learn from my students, I learn from friends who are uplifting and supportive of me. I learn from those who are negative to me as well. I learn of what not to do. When I feel hurt or I feel offended, now I'm careful when I say offended because so many people are offended. When I feel hurt or cut by snide little remarks, I learn that these remarks must not be passed on because they hurt people. And it is only people who are feeling less than what they are that actually pass them out. But learn from people. Sometimes very, very important knowledge is passed on by old people, by young people, by colleagues, by people that work for you, by people that you work for. In life, what you do, you learn. Never stop learning. And lastly, don't use time or words carelessly. Neither can be retrieved. Life is not a race, but a journey to be savored each step of the way. Time is something that I really concern with because of procrastination, because if I can't see the end, I don't want to start. And sometimes you've got to start something and adjust to get to the end. Yes, you know what you want to achieve, but you don't quite know how you're going to get there. Like I told you about that aeroplane. The plane doesn't take off until I know I will be 100% there. A plane has to take off on time. And most of the time, the plane isn't on course, but the course is being adjusted so that it gets to its destination. And so make time to do things. Use time or words carelessly, none can be retrieved. You can't retrieve the time that you've procrastinated away, that you've put away, the time that you haven't spent with someone, the time that you didn't talk, the time that you didn't just be together, the time that you would have gone somewhere, the time that you would have done something together, the time that you would have used to complete a task so that you had time to spend together. Be careful. The time wasted is time not achieved and not given back. You can't go, well, give me credit in time. Time has no bank. And then words. One of my favorite sayings that I've ever heard: you are master of your words until spoken. Thereafter, they are master of you. Once said, you cannot take your words back. Doesn't matter how much you say, sorry, I am. That's why in courts, they shout out things. Oh, you can't say that. Strike that from the record. Yeah, but the jury's heard it. It's already been planted. You can't take those words back. Doesn't matter how much strike from the record. You're not allowed to. It's been said. It's already created a picture. You said something. It's already heard. You said something. It's already promised. You've said something. It's created an expectation. It's created a picture of you. You've either hurt somebody or you've made somebody very happy. Now, I'm not saying, now that's when I get back to those words again that we have on these motivational things. You know what? I wasn't what I was, and everyone walked over me. Now I just don't give a damn anymore. I don't give a fuck. I'll just say what I want to say, and I'm a big douche. That's all. No, you can't be a big prick for the rest of your life. Be gentle. Be intelligent in what you say. Don't be a banana. These people that say, I say what I say because I feel like it and I call a spade, I'm real. No, 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 you're not real. You're real nasty, that's all. Your words hurt. Your words can comfort. Your words can also prove your integrity and what kind of person you are. Be soft, be diplomatic, be kind. I'm not saying don't be firm, but you can always be diplomatic. And sometimes it's just better to let go and move away. Sometimes it's better not to say, but move away. And I suppose I've lost like 90% of the audience now already, but yes, it is something that is really, really important is to remember that those balls, let's put them up there again. Whammo. Life is a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them work, family, health, friends, and spirit, and you're keeping all of these in the air. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other 4 balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. You must understand and strive for a balance in your life. I hope your life juggles well. We'll chat next week again. Take a look at a few things. I don't know how life's going. As I said, on one moment I'm this way, and the next moment I found something different to work with. So I hope it helps. Thank you for your emails. Thank you for your messages. I really appreciate if you'll like and share. I would appreciate that too. But from my side, thank you. Be good. Take care. And if you can't be good, at least be kind. Cheers.